Good morning, everybody. So today I'm in Bruce's studio. It's quiet, although Alex is like one room over there, so I'll probably wake him up. But it's quiet, and I don't have to worry about the dogs. Although Bruce will probably walk in here like, "What are you doing in my room?" No, he won't. He might walk in here and go through that door. But anyway, so I was trying to find like a quiet space in the house so that I can think, and there's like roosters and dogs and cats and whatever, so, and then deer that are making me look at them instead of focusing. um, anyway, oh, I have my spoon in my thing. Okay, I'll stir and then I will put it away. Okay, so yesterday was a good day. I had like a normal day. Never happens. It was like, so I think people were praying for me because I had a normal day. I mean, I don't ever have normal days. I got up, did some of my work, my chores and stuff, took a nap, and got up from my nap feeling good, and finished chicken chores till late at night, and cooked some very healthy soup in the kitchen. It's like lentils and split peas and broccoli, and I mean, it's just like all the seasonings you're supposed to have to detox and whatever. And so I did a lot of that. So it was a really good soup, and even though it's all like green, um, but that may have helped with all of my stuff. So I don't know. We'll see. Um, Anyway, so yesterday when I was working with the birds, I went out to Rocky's coop, and Rocky is he was in a very large cage for quite a while because he had some girls, but he wasn't getting along with the other roosters that were there because he's a full size, and I only have two full size, and so he was getting beat up pretty good and chased around and whatever, and he was just grabbing whatever he could grab, and so we kept him very spoiled rotten in a cage, a large, very, very large cage. I mean, he had plenty of space, and so he did really well in that. And then probably a few months ago, Bruce went ahead and we got our hands on a extremely heavy coop that they could coop up in at night and lay eggs, but it's not one that that they can like run around in and all day long, because it's kind of elevated and it's small. It's not very big. It's probably like the size of a door. You know, if you laid a door down, it's like the square footage of a door. Anyway, so Bruce went ahead and he built an enclosure for them to free range to where they won't get out. Um, there's in the area that they are is where we have had some issues with the neighbors losing birds, and so there's like no fencing in that area, and so he basically took like PVC, painted it, and made like a dome, and then he netted off the dome with that like plastic net, and then put a top on it and screened different parts of it, put a door on it, framed it out, put a base around it. And the only thing is that the girls want out of it. They want some grass. And so I said, well, he's like, well, I feel like I should just let him out for a little while and monitor it and then throw him back in. I'm like, really? It's going to be that easy? I don't think so. So I said, why don't you just like grab some grass and throw it in? There's grass all around you. Just, take some, especially the fresh grass. What I should do is I should make like a rye grass pan or something or area where you seed ryegrass, and then then they have that to eat. Of course, they'd eat it in 5 minutes. So you almost have to put like a screen or something over it so that the roots stay. But, you know, mine would pull the roots right through the screen. Anyway, it's not like they take scissors and cut the food. They pull it out. So I would think it would just get pulled out. So, anyway, evidently they want some grass. Some grass. Anyway, not that kind. Let's see. Anyway, so I put my head into this coop that is not very big, to check to see if there were any eggs, and I noticed that the laying boxes, there weren't any eggs, and the laying boxes didn't have a lot of straw in them. I'm looking at deer out through the door, whatever, and the laying boxes didn't have a whole lot of straw in them, so I was like kind of maneuvering straw around and all this kind of stuff. And well, Rocky came up in there and he kapowed me. And fortunately, I mean, I've got my upper body in this small doorway, and he kapowed me like he got my arm, he got my, my head, but I mean, he didn't get anything. It was just feathers. And I mean, he kicked, but he must have kicked something that was covered in a shirt or something. And so I'm not sure what all he got, but he got me good. And so, and I'm not scared of our roosters. And I told Bruce this was going to happen, as I could feel his energy when I was going in there, that he was kind of, walking behind me, and like they always wait till you turn around, it's little chickens. Anyway, so I mean, I instantly, it's just kind of like kapow, and I just grabbed his tail, which fortunately has all his tail feathers. I grabbed his tail and pulled him up, and he is like, this is like a 15-pound bird. I mean, at least he's huge. And so I pulled him up, and he's like flapping around and stuff. Pulled him out of the coop, grabbed his legs, hung him upside down by his legs. And this is a normal thing you do with roosters. It's something that you do when you care for them, when you take care of them medically and stuff like that too. But he was in trouble, and so I grabbed his legs and I hung him upside down, and they get very calm. They kind of like flap their wings, and then they just kind of lay there, which is really interesting. But I thought, dude, you kapow me, I'm gonna pop your spurs off. And so I took him inside, which is probably what we're supposed to do anyway. But I walked him through the chicken yard to show all the birds, and onto the back deck into the house by my toolbox. Opened up my toolbox. He's like freaking out. He's like, oh, what's she gonna do? I grabbed the vice grips out of my toolbox. I was like, no, need vice grips because I want to make sure to do this correctly. Grabbed the vice grips, got them all set and everything. Grabbed his spurs twisted, and they popped right off. But what was really interesting was that there were little spurs underneath the big spurs. And I was like, I thought it would just pop it all off, and there would just be like this little bald spot where the spur grows from, But no, there was a spur under the spur. And so it really made me think, because, and it does bleed a little bit. But then I looked at the little spurs underneath, and they were like extremely pointy, like sharp as can be. And I knew that if I clipped them with like a wire cutter or something, to dull them so that he wouldn't hurt one of the birds, because they were so pointy he would have hurt one of his girls. But I knew that they would bleed because they're like spurs under spurs. I mean, these are like fresh babies, But I did it anyway. It's kind of like cutting, into the quick of a dog's nail. But I had to, because he would have done some damage to the girl. So I just took the tips off real quick, and it did bleed hugely, but it stops pretty quickly. And so then I scooped him up and had him in my arms, and I was like, dude, try it again. Just try it again. So then I carried him to his coop and I put him in, and then I gave his girl some scratch, which is probably what he was wanting me to do or something. I don't know. So usually when they, unfortunately, I have like 3 or 4 roosters that will, kind of, they will, I have one that, grabs my pants leg. I have some that just kind of flutter on your leg, like they kind of attack your leg or whatever. But it's usually because they want me to pick them up. And I should punish them. I should say, no, you can't do that. And, whatever. But I don't. Because they don't hurt me. I mean, it's just like as if somebody threw a fluffy stuffed animal. You're like, it doesn't really hurt. Although when my husband goes out there with his shorts, he doesn't like it too much. So they're all going off out there, and we're not getting a lot of eggs right now. It's kind of like that cold temperature made everybody go, hey, it's getting cold. Hold your, just get rid of the eggs you absolutely have going right now, the ones that are in the chute, and then stop. Because we went from getting like 32 eggs to getting like 15. So, and we have like, there are a lot of hens out there. So, but I did last night. I should go get it. Oh no, wait, is it in here or is it in the kitchen? Anyway, we got what we call a fart egg when somebody's a new layer, and it's an egg that's like that big. I mean, it's just the cutest little thing. I love those eggs. Bruce likes to boil them. He's like, because they're cute. So, you boil them and then you get this little tiny boiled egg that you get to eat. Just pop it in your mouth. Let's see. Other than that, so that went weird. So then I was working on the trying to get some Christmas lights up in the chicken yard, because it's every time I put Christmas lights up. Why does this keep bouncing like that? Stop bouncing. Every time I put Christmas lights up, they get broken. Either I don't know what happens, but they get broken somehow. And then, as soon as they get broken, Bruce starts like cutting through them. Oh my God, this. And I'm like, and then you've got like pieces of, you're plugging in the light trying to figure out, why doesn't this strand work? Because it's been cut down the line over there. So anyway, so I tried to get some Christmas lights up, but they kept shocking me. And so finally I just got, I was like, trying to put them up and like little twisties and stuff. And then I'd get shocked and I'd do it again. And then finally the last one was like, just go up there, just stay. Don't shock me anymore. And so I told him, I said, you might need to check your plug or something. It may not be grounded correctly. So that was kind of weird. So, but I did get enough up that I could do some cleanup out there. And, my husband is the most awesome guy in the world. He had the feeding cans were full of empty bags, and those tops from the bags and the strings from the bags. I swear there was a year's worth in these feeding cans, and I only cleaned out one. So all the other ones have to be cleaned out too. And I was like, oh my God, what the? I'm like, he just does it like, quick, just do it and then throw the bag in the feeding can and just move on. And so then you go and you're like, what the hell? There's just like 15 bags in here. It's like halfway full of feeding bags and strings and just, tops and everything. And so did some of that cleanup. Yeah, it's when you talk to your husband, but he's not there. Um, you're like, what the hell are you really, Schwartz? And you always call him by the last name because the last name just makes more sense. You know, it's kind of like when if somebody calls me a Schumann, I know exactly what they're talking about. If somebody calls me a Kraft, nobody calls me Kraft. Yeah. Anyway, um, yeah, I have all these last names, and it's kind of like which ones fit. And evidently, Schumann is the one that fits. And Schumann usually, when we say Schumann, that means you have a temper, which is funny because the craft side has temper too. Oh, anyway, let's see. So yeah, so I was doing that with little sparkly Christmas lights, and I'm like taking these Christmas lights out, and like half the strand is dead, and I'm like, just put them up, because we use LEDs now, so these are just whatever, just put them up, just you know put the dead part, just string it together. Anyway, um, so I got some of that done. It's horrible looking, but anyway, I was able to have enough light to work out there, and um, got all the birds taken care of and all that kind of stuff. Got inside, took my shower, fed the crossbeak. I have a crossbeak. It's just the cutest little thing, and but it can't eat anymore, so it has to be tube fed every single day, and it will have to be tube fed probably for the rest of its life uh, if I can't figure out a way to get it to eat food on its own, which um, and then it's kind of like, okay, well then if you have to like stop tube feeding it, and then it just dies. It's just, or you have to cull it, and culling it means you know so I have that one, and I only have a couple of birds that have pox, and one of them is doing better. She's got Rhineck too, though. So I only have two birds that are young. One of them is a failure to thrive, so it won't live very long. But it's the funniest little thing. It tweets like a Tweety bird, and we call it Spark because its feathers go in every direction, and it's just the most awful looking bald, half bald bird we've ever seen. Um, but it's sweet, and it evidently wants to live because it eats and fills its crop and talks to us all day long. Um, and then the only other birds that we have in is we have two young ones that I'm scared to put outside because I don't want them to get any kind of pox stuff. And then I brought in a cochin yesterday who, her color was bad. She's just had, just didn't have a good color in her face. So I brought her in and gave her some treats and stuff, and I'm gonna just pamper her for a while, see if I can. She's my original cochin, bantam black cochin, and I really don't want to lose her. I mean, I have a bunch of her babies, but I really don't want to lose her. She's my sweetie. So Scuttles is doing well. The other little cochin above there is doing well. So we're getting there. We're getting there. We're getting to the point where we're getting all the birds out of the house. I don't know that I'll ever completely put Scuttles out. He can go out. He's no longer Rhineck, but he's so funny. So anyway, so then after I got all of that stuff done and everything, I was kind of chilling out in the bedroom eating, and Bruce came home from his Worst Fest gig. He said it went really well. The first, with Worst Fest, because everybody wants to see everything, you kind of get rotations of people that come through. So he said the first set had more people than the second set did. He said although they played better, he thinks, on the second set, but that they got a very responsive crowd, and that it was a lot of fun, and it didn't rain for them, so that was good. But they have, like, Alex Meixner plays in the outside tent. So like when you're looking at your schedule, people are going to be like, oh, we got to go find seats to Alex Meixner, so they leave, the one gig to go to the other gig, and there's like, there's like 5 bands playing at one time, so you have all these different places that you can go. It's kind of a neat place. We went last year, and so I won't go this year. But that's okay. And so we'll see if I have a good day again today. That would be nice. I'm not sure what I will do today. Probably need to just do some regular home stuff like laundry and kitchen. His studio needs to be cleaned up, and he has someone coming in to make a commercial either today or tomorrow. So he's gonna need to get this cleaned up because it's a mess. I'm showing you the good part of it. If I turned it any of the other ways, you'd see his lederhosen over there. You'd see that my ottoman is full of his laundry. And it's like all of his boards are here. I'm like, I want to make sure none of them have the volumes up to where I can be hurt. So we do have our morning show coming up on Friday, so it's a few days away. And it's 21 minutes that you're never going to get back again. So I think I'm done. I don't really have any other thing. I have not even had one sip of my coffee yet. Today was like Christmassy day. I had this like Christmas. Usually I like match my clothes. I have some red on my t-shirt, my worn out t-shirt, but yeah, I always match my mug with my clothes or my personality. That would be weird. Or my or my mood for the day. So see, he doesn't have this thing on. Does he have it on? I think he has it off. Oh no, there. Here, I'll show you his toy. It's kind of a fun little toy. It's like this little fart machine. He was like doing one of the Friday morning show one time. He didn't know I had the remote. And so the thing was sitting right here, and I just kept clicking the remote different times. And he was like, oh, give me the remote. Or he shut it off so it wouldn't do it anymore. So funny. Funny. Anyway. Okay. So I will talk to you guys later. I am like feeling some allergies coming on. I don't know what is in the air, but there is something. You can tell because my eyes are a little bitty. Okay, so you guys have an awesome day, and I will post this as soon as I get a chance to. And I posted yesterday's a little late, but it's there. So anyway, y'all have a great day and enjoy the week. It looks a little cloudy outside. I'm not sure what the temperature is. Probably a little stuffy, but anyway, y'all have a great week, and we'll see you later. Bye.